All right, so now we're back and it's time for another stream. So last time what we did was we finished let's run the app actually. Run. And then we need to start the backend. So Python run.py, I think. Oh wait, source. I'm just going to start this all up so that we have it running. Activate. Okay, and then run.py. Okay, so that means that we're up and running again. So what we did last time was we finished this off and we essentially got some tasks from our database, and what we're doing today is still building on the same to-do list sort of app or productivity app. Hello Marco. What we did was essentially get some stuff from the database, so get the notes that this user has already added from the database and then display it within the app. So that is what we're seeing here. We're seeing shopping list and then build app. So those are two tasks that exist within our database. So what I'm thinking that the goal of this stream is going to be is to actually add a new task. So basically pressing this button should then open up a new window or a little alert window that says something like, oh, you want to add a new task, and then you type in the different things for a task. So that's going to be the goal for today, is to actually be able to add new tasks to this list from within the app. Because we can do that from, if we go to our little Insomnia REST API tester sort of app, we can actually add new tasks by sending a post request to the API /API./tasks, and then we can actually add a new task to our database. So if we do that here, let's say that we name this task new task. If we send that, then we've added a new task to the database. And that also means that if we swipe to the right, swipe to the left, we get that task here in the app. So that's what we did last time. Now what we need to do is essentially create something within our Flutter app so that we can send a post request like this to our API, essentially. So that is going to be the plan, or that's the idea for today. But I think let's say that okay. So this is what we're going to start with. We're going to start with just designing how this is going to look and what's going to happen within the app. So when we press the add button here, an alert window should pop up. And we want to design what that alert window should look like within the app. So we're going to open up our Adobe XD here, and then we're going to open up the project that we're working on here. So productivity app design, I think it's called. Yeah. So this is the one. So then we need to essentially create the screen, a screen for this. Oh wait, copy that and then add a new iPhone 6, okay, paste that in here. All right, not this one. 6, that one, that's the one. All right. Okay, so now we need to kind of come up with what our alert window should contain and what we want it to actually have in it. So that is what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna have a fairly large window for this because, I think we need to figure out kind of what is actually, what do we want to be able to add within this first thing, because essentially the in tray here, the idea of this is going to be to just have a place to easily be able to jot down the tasks or things that you come up with, ideas or tasks or whatever whatever it might be. And so we kind of need to know how much stuff do we need to have in this window to start with. Do we need to have everything that can be within a task, like what project it's part of, whether it's completed or if it's repeats, like all of those sort of things. I think all right, let's just actually make something and then we'll make it up as we go. A really good piece of advice is to actually do this sort of stuff, like design your idea before you actually start building it, because I used to, when I started this, I used to pretty much always just start building things and hope that it will end up looking good. Like, I didn't really think of even designing it before I started actually building it. And that means that oftentimes it ends up not looking that great. And also it takes a lot longer, because doing it this way, you know exactly what you need to build. So you can kind of structure the path towards actually having this completed in your head before you actually get started. So yeah, that's kind of just a little piece of advice, is to start doing this, and that will then save you a lot of time in the end. Okay, so what is the window going to look like? Okay, so we need a name of the task. That is what we need. We also need maybe ability to set a deadline for it. Let's just take a look here at what we have. Repeats, completed, deadline, reminders, title. Reminders is something that I've added here, but I don't think that's something that we're gonna start with right now, because I've never done a reminder before within an app, so I'm not exactly sure how that's gonna how that would be done. And I think that's gonna probably be a stream of its own, just to kind of get reminders to work. But deadline is fairly simple. It just needs to be a date, so that's gonna be pretty easy. Completed is not something that we need when we add a task, because when we add it, it should be not completed. Otherwise, it makes no sense to actually add the task. So that's not something that we need. Repeats. That is probably something that we might need in the future, but not something that we need right now. This could also be something that is fairly difficult to actually create, because what I was thinking is that this would say something like we have some sort of short for this, so like 1/W, for instance. That could be that means once per week, once per month, and then once per year. That could be something that kind of a way to keep track of how often it should repeat, because otherwise the other option that I kind of came up with in my head was to do this by like having an array of dates. So let's say that you wanted to repeat once every week, then you just have to create like a giant array of dates, which wouldn't make sense. So probably the better way to do this is to have something like a string that's a short for however often this should be repeating. And then yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably going to be the best way. And then within the app, you would have something, or within maybe on the backend side, you would have something where you could get all the repeating tasks, and then you could check whether one of those tasks should be on today or tomorrow, or whatever day it should be on. But yeah, I think that's once per year. Could have once per day or something like that as well. And then if you wanted to repeat several times per week, and then also you probably want to have something like, okay, once per week, and also maybe the day of the week, so like Monday or something like that. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, Friday, something like that. But that's not something that we need to do right now. We need to come up with some sort of system to actually be able to do that, but it may be that this is not necessary for the beta release. So when we release like the minimum viable product for this app, repeating tasks might not be super necessary. So we'll see if that's even something that we're going to work on right now or for the next couple months. I don't think that is super necessary at this point. But we need a note. Yeah, I don't think we need a note either, actually, because a note is probably something that you would want to add maybe in a little bit more detail. So you could have something. This is, I feel like I'm talking in circles, but it's kind of difficult to come up with a good system for this, because you want to essentially limit how much stuff is on this window as much as possible, because that just makes it cleaner. If this is huge and you have tons of things that you have to type in before you can even add a task, then the simplicity and kind of the ease of use goes down a little bit. So UX wise, I think it's better to have fewer things on this page. So we might just have something like the title of the task, and then also like the deadline, so you can set when this should be done, if it even has a deadline. It might not have a deadline to start with. But I think those two things are going to be the main things that we need to focus on. All right, so that means that we probably just need a really small window. All right. So let's set that in the center, and then this thing can be, and then we'll add some text here, just saying like new task, add new task, and the color of this. Nope. We want that to be a dark color. So this color. All right. Add new task. It will say something like that. I'm not sure that it will say exactly this, but something like that. And we probably will just have like a line like this for the title, and then we'll have like a placeholder text that will say like title or something like that. So we want that to be a little bit thicker, maybe. I don't know. Okay, maybe like that. All right, so then we have the title here. Let's type in title. And this should be a lot smaller. Or maybe just name of task, name of task. Like so. And then we make that a little bit transparent. So something like that. Not super important because it won't look the same in the app anyway with how transparent it is. Or you could be super detailed about this and like make sure that it's exactly the same amount of transparency here as it is within the app. But for me, I think just that it's transparent is going to be enough. It's probably going to look pretty good. So the next thing is going to be some sort of date picker, which let's just see what they have like within Flutter date picker. Alright, I think I like that sort of design actually. I don't know if I like what they've done here, but I like when you get like that kind of bottom tab sort of thing, and then you can just scroll through the years and then pick the date that you want it to be for the deadline. Okay. So if there's no deadline set, then we may just want something like... Okay, so a couple of things. We need to think about like, okay, the user needs to know that they should set a date or that they can set a date. Actually, let's go to Pinterest and just find some inspiration for this. Let's see. Okay, date picker UI. Alright, maybe we should just set deadline. Okay, maybe that could just be a button or something, actually. So if we make that into a button, then I think that might be a good idea. Okay, color should be the same. And then we want some shadow. Like that, and the corners should be 30. Okay, and then this can be white, that to be white. All right. Okay, so then this could say set deadline. Something like that, I'm not sure. Okay. All right, I think that might be good. Set deadline, all right. And then when you press that, you would get like a little pop-up window down at the bottom here, or a little pop-up that would come up, and then you can pick the date, and that would then set whatever date it is for this, or deadline for this task. And after these things have been done, there will be buttons at the bottom that says, like, one that says cancel and one that says add or something like that. Okay. Should we have that be red? I'm just going to try out some colors and we'll see what that will look like. And then 15. Maybe a little bit less. So maybe 10. 5. All right. Something like that. And then copy this text. Cancel. And then another one. Add. I'm not super happy about the design. I feel like this, I don't know, it's not, it feels like super boring, essentially. That's what I'm thinking. It feels like there's, it should be some sort of different color. Something needs to be a different color. Okay, so Marco suggested maybe just have an entry for the date, so that it's like when you, so it looks like, oh, wait. So it would look like this, and then when you press it, date of our deadline, something like that. And then when you press it, the date picker would appear, which is actually a pretty good idea. I still don't like the design of it. It doesn't really look that great. Making the corners round looks a little bit better. but still there's something I don't like about it. What if it's like a dark color? So if we take this color, copy and paste. Could that be better? Now we have to change all the other colors. So we make that white instead. I think that might actually look a lot better. Maybe. Alright, I think that looks a little bit better. I'm not sure how much better, but it looks a little bit better. I think it looks a little bit better at least. So that is gonna be our design for adding a task. Now what we need to do is just build this. So we need to build something, build this thing where it pops up as soon as you press the add button here. Yeah, so that's the next thing that we're gonna do. I've been doing so many like one-day builds or one-day build sort of videos lately, so I'm very used to being like, okay, that's the next thing that we're gonna do, and then there's like a time lapse, and then I don't speak anymore. So I feel like I've got that as a what do they call it, like work? I don't know. Anyway, it's something that I feel like I'll say that even though we're not doing a one-day build right now. All right, the cancel and add button are taking more attention than they should. Try to lower the opacity a bit and see what it will look like. Okay. I'll try to lower the opacity just to see what that might look like. Oh, they probably need to be the same. 74%. Set that to be 74% as well. Okay, we're just gonna have it for like this for now, and then we're gonna build it out, and we'll see kind of what we do with it afterwards, if we change anything. But yeah, I think that looks a little bit better actually. It makes them not stand out as much, and also kind of goes a little bit better, I think, with the darkness, I guess, of the alert window. But now let's add this to something. So create the actual alert window. Okay, need to Google that as well. So alert window Flutter. I hate the pop-ups. Okay, show dialog, copy that entire thing, and then we're gonna have it down here. Okay, and this is gonna be called show add dialog. Okay, so when someone presses that button, wherever it is, okay. So, wrong page. So it should be in the main. All right. Something like that. Okay. And then floating action button add on pressed should be this. All right, now we run it. And it is running. If we press that, we get our alert dialog, which is great. Now we need to okay, so now we need to figure out how to, first of all, how to change the background color of this. So right now it's white and we don't want it to be white, and usually this is pretty difficult when it comes to alert dialogues, because they're, yeah, it's usually pretty difficult to do that. We need to wrap something in a theme. I think we need to wrap this one in a theme. So wrap with new widget theme, maybe. Data theme data, like that. And then, okay, background color, background dark gray color. All right, so let's just see what that does. Okay, it didn't change anything. All right, wait. Change background of. Oh, maybe I need to add Flutter as well. Flutter. Raise button on pressed, show down. Dialog background color, okay. Dialog background color. Nope. Sometimes you need to do, because you can do the hot reload, which is where you just type press R and it will just reload, or it's sometimes Okay. Wait. So maybe we need to wrap the floating action button. It can be, so there's two, I think there's two ways or possibilities here of a solution to this problem. Either we need to go further down, so further down the widget tree. So we need to either wrap this floating action button, which is part of the container, or we need to go further up. So we need to wrap something like material app, which is what contains all of our widgets, pretty much. Right now, I think, I mean, the way that they do it here, they just wrap the raised button, which essentially is our floating action button here. So theme, nope. Theme. Okay. Oh, okay, data. Data. Theme data. Dialog. Dark gray color. All right, now we run it again. Hopefully. Oh, okay, it's not dark. Why is it not dark? Content. Builder alert dialog. Okay, so maybe we just need to raise button, show dialog contest. Okay, we're gonna try to wrap something higher up in a theme builder. So if we wrap this, wrap with new widget, theme, and then data, theme, data, dialog, dark gray color. All right, so that is the next attempt. But that did not work either. Okay, so there's one. Let's undo what we did, right? Okay. Theme data, primary swatch, okay. Dialog, background color, dark gray color. Okay, maybe this will work. Yep, okay, so that's why. So we have that up here now, where we set the theme of the material app. I guess, yeah, so that solved the problem for us. Now we just need to remove the theme that we added here, which we don't need anymore. Delete, and then delete that. All right. There we go. Now we can start actually designing this and making it look the way that it should. What if we do, actually we can do colors.transparent just to see what that looks like. Okay, that's really good because that means that this is transparent, and we can then do something where we can design exactly what we want this to actually look like. So we don't need to actually worry about, let me just remove this. We don't need to worry about the size of it or anything like that. We can just design this exactly the way that we want, because usually like making round corners and that sort of stuff is not very easy with this sort of stuff. Content, container, like that. Oh. And then height 100, width 100, color, colors dot red, right. So there we go. We have our little alert window there. Let me just. Okay, yep, so we have that, and we can then turn the corners around or do whatever we want with it really. So decoration, box, decoration. Border radius. What did we set that to? I think we set it to be like 5. Okay. And the classic, I think you guys must, if you've been watching my streams for a while now, then you've probably seen me make this mistakes over and over and over, and that is, as soon as you add a decoration to a container, you need to move the color variable into the box decoration, because otherwise it will break. So now run that from the start or rebuild it and press add. There we go. We have our little window which has slightly curved edges. Let's set that to 8. Run that again. All right, a little bit more rounded corners. What did we set this to? 13. Is that what we set it to? Okay. Let's set it to 13 here too. All right. Next thing is going to be to add the title, then the name of the task. So we need a column essentially as the child. So child column. And then children is going to be a list of widgets. The first one is just going to be a text, right? Text. And that's going to say add new task. And the style of that should be white. So we need to add a new style here somewhere. Global.dart, I think. Okay, bright blue in trade. Da, da, da. So dark to do title. Okay, I think this is the one. White to white title, and it's gonna be colors.white. Okay, and then we just go back and we set the style here to be that. So style white title. Okay, and then we run it. Add new task, probably should be a little bit smaller. So we're gonna make it maybe 20, I think. Add new task. Oh, okay, now I changed the wrong one, of course. All right, there we go. All right, so that looks a lot better, I think. 25 of the size of it, and now we just need to add these three things. So the title or the text field here, the text field there, and then the add and cancel button. So that will then be probably a container with a child text. The reason that I wrap it in a container is just to, in case I want to do something like manipulate how far away from the corner it is or something like that, and I don't want that to affect anything else, then I can just do that within this particular container for this particular text field. So that's the only reason why I use a container or wrap this in a container. Text field. Okay. Decoration, input decoration. All right, not really sure what this will do now, if it will just, yeah, so it just adds no input border, which is not actually what we wanted. What if we do nothing here? And then we run that, just to see kind of what the actual color is. Naturally, I think it's probably going to be like black. Yeah, so it's black to begin with, but we want it to be color okay, so I need to Google this as well. Color text field border Flutter. border color. The thing is, I've done this like several times before. Like I always change the underline color of the text fields, but for some reason right now, I can't really seem to find how to do that. Enabled border. Okay, we'll try this one. Okay, so that's the one. All right, so we can remove this then. We don't need that. Like, the computer is so slow right now that it's like almost impossible to do any of this. All right, good, remove that. Perfect. And then colors.white is what we want. Okay. I think that this is now done. Great. Now we don't have to worry about this anymore. Let's say hint text should say, what should it say? What did we say that it was? Now I need to reopen the Adobe XD as well. Okay, zoom in. Okay, name of task, that's what it should say. Name of task. All right, and let's just copy this and do another one straight away, because we know we're gonna need to. Like that. And that should then say deadline. Deadline. However, that should maybe actually be a button, I think. So it should look like a text field, but it should be a button. And yeah, I think that's what we want that to be. But it can be like this for now. All right, so we have that, and this next thing that we need is going to be a row, I think. No, let's just go row like that. Children, flat button. Let's actually do a raised button. Raised button. Boom. And this should have on pressed. Something should happen. Navigator.pop.off. All right, I think that's what we want that one to do. Next one, but we need to also have a title, so child, text, cancel. Style. Right. Now we need to just create that text style, and we do that by going into the global, paste that, copy, paste, copy, remove, paste. This should probably be 15, I think. It's going to be a good size. Right, so that is done. Now we have our cancel button here. That does exactly what it should, but it doesn't have a color. So we need to set the color red color. All right. Now we just need to create an exactly one that is exactly the same, right? Red color. All right, so now if we run this, we'll see kind of what it looks like. Okay, yeah, we need to make the size of it a little bit bigger. So it needs to probably be 200. It's gonna look good. Run that again. Press the add bottom of, okay, shit. Sometimes when you're or trying to be fast, you just do stupid mistakes, like setting the width to be 200 instead of the height. Now it should be good. Okay, that is our alert window done. It doesn't look like this right now, but we'll make it look like that in just a second. So first of all, column, main axis, no. Cross-axis alignment dot center. So we're gonna just center everything, I think. This should do. All right. Cross-axis alignment dot center. All right, and then main axis alignment, space between. All right, so now we have some space in there. Now we just need to add some padding. So padding, edge insets dot all 20. All right, that looks pretty good. Bottom overflowed by 1 pixel. 201. All right, so that is our window essentially. Probably want it to be a little bit bigger, maybe 250. Right, so that is a little bit bigger. Now we can do main axis alignment as well here, and then main axis alignment, space between to kind of space out our elements a little bit more so that they look a little bit better. All right, so that looks a little bit better now. They're a little bit more spaced out. Not sure how to make it wide enough, because I think that making it wider won't really change too much. So we're gonna do maybe constraints, box constraints dot expand height to 50. So this essentially should then make it so that the size of this window is going to be 250, but then the width of it is going to expand to the size of the screen. But I'm not sure that it will, because it's like that's one of the things with alert windows here in Flutter. They're usually, yeah, so you see it doesn't actually expand. Not sure exactly why that is, but we can set width to be 300. Okay, so that doesn't expand either. Size. All right. Okay, so I guess that is, what if you set the width to infinity with a padding? Okay, not sure actually. All right, let's see. I think that's, for now, we're not gonna go into the rest of the stuff. We've already spent like a lot of time. We should be done by now. Like I want to keep these sessions to about 1 hour 30 minutes. And now I think it's been about 1 hour or 30 minutes, something like that. So now I just want to do something so that we can type in some text here and type in some text here and then press add, and that should add it to our list here. So that's going to be the goal now, to just finish that sort of stuff, or that thing, essentially. Okay, so we need something here that says add task, and this needs to take task name and also the task deadline. All right. So then we can create something here. Called void add task string task name and then string. Oh wait, should it be a string? Date, time, date. All right, so that is the method for adding our task. Okay. So now we need to just check how we actually get tasks, and then we pretty much need to do exactly the same thing, but instead of sending a GET request, we need to send a POST request to our API, and that will then post this task in our API. So we need to create controllers here. Text editing controller, task name equal new text editing controller. And then this is deadline. Okay. And then we set the controller to be deadline and the controller here. And this is how we then get the text from the text fields. So we use a text editing controller, and then you set the controller of the text field here, controller, to be that text editing controller, and then that variable deadline here has a, or that object has a a variable, I think it is. Yeah, an attribute called text, where you can get the text from that text field. I think we should have this be a string for now. All right. So first of all, we need to check whether task name.text actually contains something, because we don't want to add a new task if they haven't typed anything in here. So we want to check that they've actually typed in some text here, because otherwise we don't want to add a task. So what we need to do is if task, wait, we can probably do task name.text. Okay, so if it doesn't equal null, then if it does not, yeah, so if it's not null, then we should add a task. Essentially, that's what this will do, I think. It should print task name. All right, so now we can just run that and we can try it out, see if it will actually print the task name, which it should. Add, and then we type in a task name, so my task, and then we press add. Okay, so that did not print it, which means that this should just be changed to equals. Okay, something like that. Add. Okay, I'm not sure why that is doing that, but okay. We'll do this if task name.text does not equal null. Then it will do all of this. So I keep like forgetting how slow the computer gets when I stream, because it's like I stream on Mondays and then I don't stream for the rest of the week. So that means like throughout the week I forget about how annoying it is when the computer is this slow. Like trying to just grab some text here, it just takes, like it takes 2 seconds before it actually marks the text, which means that it's just way too slow to actually be working, really. Yeah, so I need to do something about this. All right, so add a text, add. Okay, so now it prints that text here, which is the title of our note or task. Now what we need to do is we need to send the post request. So we need to go to our block here, blocks, user block. Here we have our task block, and we have something called update tasks, API key. Future null, update task, get task, subject stream. And then this is add task string API key. Should take the task name and also the task date. Okay, task equals await repository dot add user task API key task name deadline. All right, and then we need to go to the repository. We need to add this as a method here. So future add user task. String task name string deadline. Add user task. All right, so now we've added that to our repository here. Now we just need to add the actual call here within the API. So copy this and then paste that here. All right. API key, string task name, string deadline. All right, perfect. Post is what we want. Headers, authorization, API key. Body needs to be essentially, right now it should be the, let's take a look at our Insomnia app. Okay, so all of this stuff needs to be within our what we send here in the body. Okay. Note should be empty, repeat should be empty, deadline should just be the deadline, like that. Reminders should be empty as well. And then title should be task name. All right, so that is then what we're gonna send as our, wait, maybe false. We'll see. I'm not sure if that will work, but it might work. Okay, so that's what we're gonna send to our API. And then what we need to do is we need to do something, I think, to the API as well. So we need to see what we get back, I think. So this is what we send, and I guess this is what we get back. Okay. Future, so this should just be a task, it shouldn't be all of the tasks. So we get back a single task, essentially. Okay, 201 for map result data. Alright, I think this is gonna be what we need. So we just need to essentially set our task here, the task that we return. Task, something like that. And then we set it here, task equals this. All right, print exception, and then we return task. Okay. So I think that is what we need. Oh yeah, we don't need to return anything actually. That is true. So we can just do this. I guess. Wait, actually, we should do this. So we can still print that it was okay, or like, in case something happens, print task added. All right, so that is good. We don't return a task. We don't do anything like that because we should be streaming that. So we should, as soon as this changes on the API, we should receive a new task anyway. Okay, that's perfect. This should mean that it works. We need to do some things, I think. So this, I think this right now is returning something, we'll see. API, oh, blocks, user block. Okay, add task, future null. And then just do await. Right, I think that may work. We'll see. So block. Have we initialized the block here? Maybe not. Intro to do. So I'm going to override the init state here again, and we're going to just set the task block here to be oh wait, I could probably do this instead. So here, like that. All right, great. Okay, task block dot all right, so we have add task here, stream list task subject dot stream. All right, so I'm not quite sure how this is done. Maybe we don't need this part, so maybe we could just do something like this, where we essentially do that. and then repository equals rep. Something like that. And then we do this as an async. All right, not sure if this is gonna work, but we can try it and see if it will work. So let's call this eat, because that's a task. We add that. Exception type bool is not a subtype of string in cast. Okay. Post. All right, let's run that again, see if we can see what happens. Add a new task, name. Okay, type int is not a subtype of string in typecast, okay. So it might be that we need to do something like this. Right, that seemed to, I don't know. No, that didn't work. Okay, failed to load tasks. Repository.add user tasks. Handle tab. Failed to load user tasks. So something here. If response, okay, so that means that something is going wrong here. All right, maybe we need to, what if we do this then? Name, and then something like that, and then add. Get post. Okay, so that does not work either. But we're sending this. Unhandled exception, failed to load task, API provider.add. Alright, so I'm just gonna have to try. I believe the error is an asynchronous error. Yeah, but it feels like it's strange that it's still like the API itself gives a 400 error. Because we do connect to the API and we send the stuff, so it feels like it should, even if the app may not work, or like the asynchronous stuff within the app may not work, but it feels like it should still just add it to the yeah, add it, which I'm not sure why. So 400 failed to load tasks, which we print here on the API. Post API tasks, authorization API key, yes, yes, yes. Response.status code. Success. Could that be the problem? No, that's not the problem. Yeah, let's go to the back end and just see what could be going wrong. Sign in task, post, return message, no API key 400. Okay, so it seems like we don't have an API key. That could be the issue. $400 still. Let's print the API key here. API key. Just to see if we have an API key here when we try to print it. Okay, we do get the API key, so that's not the issue. Then what could be the issue? If not header, no API key, 400. we should probably do something here where we print response.body. And then json.decode response.body. All right, so this should then print so that we actually get to see what the message is, I guess. Message failed to decode JSON object. No JSON object could be decoded. All right, I think, could that be, oh, no. Oh, shit. That's why. All right, so we need to do JSON encode before we do just the body here. So we need to do JSON encode, I think, and then, oh no, that. All right, so this should solve our problems. Let's do false. All right, so cross your fingers right now that this is gonna work. I hope that it will. (201) task added. Yes, we did it. All right, so that's perfect. We've got a task added down here at the bottom. As you can see, we can add another task and we can call that Cal's amazing stream. And we can add that. Go back. Down at the bottom, we have Cal's amazing stream. Perfect. All right. That's great. The only thing is, of course, that it doesn't dynamically reload. So as soon as we add it, it doesn't just reload the list, which it should. But that is not super. I mean, it's something that we can fix later on. It's something that will need to be fixed by the time that we actually release the app for the first time. But for right now, it's not super important. So that's great. We can add new tasks now. That is the goal of this stream accomplished. So, I mean, there's been a few people watching this stream actually, like around 60, 50 people. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll be back next Monday with another stream. Hopefully then the computer will just stay on the whole time and I won't have to stop it in the middle of it. But yeah, that's what happens sometimes. I will get a new computer at some point as soon as I have the money. All right, see you guys, and thank you for joining me.